How serious is sleep deprivation?
Studies have shown that if you go for one entire night without sleep,
you have to sleep between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. because that's the time where like my collagen repair. How true is that?
Off-the-shelf sleeping medications and pills like that, right? Are those legit?
Is there a best sleep position?
if you measure brain activity while you're asleep, you can actually see
Why?
You know that feeling when you wake up feeling more tired than before?
Yeah.
No matter how much you sleep. Today we have an extremely important episode because we're going to figure out how to properly do the thing that we spend a third of our lives doing. Sleep! So we are joined by a sleep scientist and a clinical psychologist who has spent decades studying this very topic. Please welcome Dr. Julian!
Yes lah! Finally! Welcome. I did not sleep for this. We're putting this topic to rest. To bed.
So, welcome to the show. Can you tell us generally what does a sleep scientist really do?
Thanks, yeah, very nice to be here. What does a sleep scientist do? Well, I wear two hats, as you've said. So I used to do research with NUS, and basically what I did was try and understand what happens in the brain when people have insufficient sleep. And I also did quite a bit of research in trying to understand treatments for things like insomnia, how to help people with sleep difficulties. And as a psychologist, I actually implement those. So I see a lot of clients who have insomnia, who have other sleep problems, and I use the therapy to help them to get better.
I wanted to ask, right? So I think, when we think about sleep, right, the one so-called golden rule that people usually talk about is getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. How accurate is that?
Well, it's a rule of thumb, but of course everybody is going to differ, right? So that's like asking how many calories do I need and comparing me to my bodybuilder friend who's 10 cm taller than me, right? So everybody has different amounts of sleep need, and that's going to change based on a lot of different things, how old you are. So sleep need tends to decrease over the lifespan. And, also based on your genes and what kind of lifestyle you have. So more active people may need more time for rest and recovery than people who are more sedentary.
As you age, your sleep need decreases?
Decreases, yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, when you're young, when you're a kid, obviously you need a lot more sleep than when you're an adult. So sometimes up to 10 to 12 hours of sleep for young people. As you grow older, that decreases to about 7 to 9 hours for adults and sometimes even a little bit less for older people.
That's why they all wake up like 5 a.m. then they go the Tai Chi.
No wonder.
They're naturally awoken.
Yeah, older people like to be up early. That's the body clock, actually.
Okay.
And again, that's going to vary for everybody. So some people are naturally night owls. They are more active at night. Some people are early larks, early birds, and they prefer to get going early in the morning.
That's so interesting because I found this out because when I got together with my wife, like very early on, we started like living together, right? And I realized that she has a preference of waking up close to like 12 p.m., 1 p.m. Whereas like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., I'm already awake and I want to like get going already.
What I ask people is to imagine that you win Toto, okay? Like you get $5 million tomorrow. You don't have to work. You can sleep anytime you like. What hours would you choose? And usually people have a sense.
My mom always say, right, you have to sleep between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. because that's the time where like my collagen repair and all this. How true is that?
All of that stuff that's happening with tissue repair, with beauty sleep, with your body repairing itself and so on, that's usually happening in the first part of the night during your deep sleep. And so that's why you commonly hear, that's between 10 and 2 a.m. But that's because that's when most people are in the first half of the night. Right?
So the timing of which I go to sleep doesn't matter, but as long as I have deep sleep, then my skin should be okay.
Well, everybody gets deep sleep. It's not something that you have conscious control over. So as long as you have enough hours of sleep, as long as you've set the right conditions, then you'll get enough deep sleep on your own.
What are the stages of sleep and how do they matter?
There are three kind of broad categories of sleep that you will have seen on your Aura ring, and this light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. Light sleep, the technical term for it, sleep scientists will call it N1 and N2 sleep. That tends to take up most of the night. That's about 50 to 60% of your night. That doesn't mean it's not important. So a lot of people think light sleep is not good, but it's still important as part of a full night of sleep. There are still things that your brain is doing to maintain itself during that time in terms of learning, in terms of consolidating the information from the day. After that, you have deep sleep, what we call your N3. That tends to happen more in the first half of the night. It's about 20%. And as I said just now, that's when a lot of the tissue repair happens. It's when your immune system regulates itself. It's when your inflammation comes down.
And then there's also like REM
sleep.
which
That's right.
to my mind, like I haven't seen it properly, but it's when your eyes are just like darting everywhere.
That is called that because it's rapid eye movement. It's when your eyes are flickering back and forth very quickly.
Yeah.
That's a time when you're usually having very intense dreams. So
Oh.
if you remember emotional dreams, it's usually happening then. And interestingly, your body is actually paralyzed during REM so that you don't act out those dreams and end
Then
up.
what about like sleep paralysis? Is it because I wake up during REM?
That's exactly it. See, you're learning.
Oh.
Am I in phase 1 sleep? We never know.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
this is just a dream.
Oh my god. You're being crazy. How about if I sleepwalk?
if you sleepwalk, that usually happens during N3, actually.
Deep sleep.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
not
why
happening
do
during
people
REM.
sleepwalk?
Oh, I don't know.
Um,
Why you look at me when you ask that question?
As I said, usually there's an inhibition of our bodily functions during sleep. Usually, we won't act out the things that we are dreaming of. But during deep sleep, for some people, there's a failure of that mechanism, and so because of that, they end up doing complex behaviors even while they're asleep.
You know, right? Like the scariest bout of like sleepwalking happened when I was staying over with my friend. Like it's a group of friends, there's 8 of us, right? And then he suddenly just got up and then just went to the toilet and take a shit. And then he came back out, right? And then fell asleep, right? Then the whole time we like all of us just blur. Then when we asked him like you took a shit and you didn't flush. And then like he's like, I don't remember, like I didn't. What do you mean you're talking about?
No,
Like,
but did he wipe?
yeah, like, we also don't know, but like the whole time he was just sleepwalking.
I swear he was pretending.
Yeah, maybe.
He didn't expect you all to
No, but
notice.
as I'm saying this, right, I realized that I have sleepwalked maybe once to memory. That I was dreaming that I was going to the toilet. So then I opened the door, right? But it turns out to be my closet. And I'm 10 years
Oh
old
my
at this
God.
point.
Sure.
And then and then I think last time I got this IKEA like shelf, so it's like a cloth one, but then it comes out and then you got like different sections.
Ah, okay.
So like for some reason I aimed into the second from bottom square. And so then when I woke up, right, I was like, did I pee into my closet? And then I went and then like went to a place, the whole place is like wet.
my
And that was the only
God.
time I ever sleepwalk. But I guess sleepwalk happens.
It does happen. It's not uncommon for kids.
Okay.
Yeah, but most people grow out of it.
But is it considered a medical condition? Like if you sleepwalk? Like is it a problem that like you will see a doctor to try and correct or fix?
It's only a problem if the person does dangerous things. So some people, they get up and they try and drive their car in their sleep. and that's not great. So if it's getting to that extent, then yes, it's advisable to see a doctor. But otherwise, for most people, as long as you keep the house safe, it's generally okay.
So recently, right, I've been waking up in the middle of the night more and more. Like almost every night, right? At like 3, 4 a.m. that kind.
Yo.
Then like half the time is like to pee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once that happens, right, I cannot go back to sleep for like 2 hours.
That explains the eye bag.
Help me, please.
How about you drink less water before you sleep?
No, apparently this is quite common.
Oh.
Yeah, with
'Cause I was looking
men
online, a
above
lot of people
30.
were like on Reddit asking like, hey, this keeps happening to me, how? Yeah.
If you're taking a long time to fall asleep again, that could be one of the signs of insomnia, actually.
Yo.
Wow, stress.
Your heart rate
We shall
gonna be high
fix the sleep
tonight.
again. Wait, what exactly is insomnia?
Insomnia is usually an issue where people start to worry about the process of sleep a lot. And so they feel that, oh, it's taking me so long to fall asleep. I need to do something to try and fix the problem. And then they put a lot of effort into it. So some people think that if only I did X, Y, Z, then I'd be able to fall asleep fast. But it's that effort itself that keeps the problem going.
Okay.
It's a
like the
vicious-
worry of
it's
sleep.
self-fulfilling,
Exactly,
anti-self-fulfilling
yeah.
prophecy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It explains a lot because like I think like when I was still a student, I usually can sleep okay, but when I am worried about getting enough sleep for like for an exam, for example, then I don't get enough sleep.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So it's like okay, that makes so much sense.
Okay, so in like over the period that I've been struggling to sleep, right, I've attempted a few different methods to try and help. So maybe you can help me to understand whether they are legit. Actually, the first one that worked for me for quite a while, right, is to tell myself to not sleep. So I just keep telling myself, okay, don't fall asleep. Then suddenly I knock out. Okay.
Amazingly, that's one of the techniques that we would recommend.
Why?
So you've hit the nail on the head.
Wow. Why? What's the science behind it?
Well, psychologists, we have a name for it. It's actually called paradoxical intention.
Sounds legit.
Wow, hey, guys.
Sounds better. Wow.
Sleep assistant.
So the classic experiment is that, say, I tell all of you guys, for the next 30 seconds, don't think of pink elephants. go.
Is it behind the curtain?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it works
so-
better than thinking about going to sleep.
Yeah.
That's the
so
part.
one of the things that helps with insomnia is actually say, I'm just going to stay awake as long as I can.
Yeah, wow. So then, like in like all the I see off the shelf like sleeping medications and pills like that, right?
Yep.
Are those also legit? I've never dared to try them because I scared I sleep away and I wake up. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I have this like fear of it. Yeah, but are those legit also?
We don't have a lot of research on those. So it's the same with all supplements. We don't have very good scientific studies and good scientific evidence. Magnesium itself is one of the supplements that's been shown to promote sleep for some people. But for most of us, and especially people with insomnia, they are getting enough magnesium in their diet already anyway. And so it's not really helping you so much. So many of them, they can help you as a mild relaxant. But as I said, the problem of insomnia is one of sleep anxiety. It's one of sleep effort.
It's actually making it worse because it's like adding to the anxiety and you're like,
Exactly.
oh, this is not working. So then
Exactly.
if someone were to come to you with insomnia, I'm guessing the essence or the school of thought is to actually try less.
That's right. And we help them to do that in two different ways.
Okay.
So the first way is something that we call sleep restriction or sleep consolidation, which is to say, rather than spending so much time tossing and turning trying to go to bed, let's just cut short your sleep time for now. So if you can only sleep 5 or 6 hours, don't spend 8 hours in bed. And then that way, they go to bed very sleepy every night. They can sleep through the night much easier.
Okay.
And the second thing we do is therapy to help them with the anxiety, to help them to understand, well, what exactly are you worrying about? And is
Right.
this something that is worth worrying about?
Okay.
And that can help a lot of people as well.
Because the anxiety is causing insomnia, so actually treat the anxiety that might help treat insomnia.
Exactly.
I see. Okay.
Actually, do a lot of your clients now come to you for revenge bedtime procrastination? Okay, my understanding of it is that like because during the day I'm like working and all that, right? Then after that, by the time I go home, I eat and bathe. Then suddenly it feels like I don't have any me time. That's how I end up like doom scrolling.
And people decide
And
to watch the
sleeping
daily catch-up. It's wild.
I don't know whether this is a compliment.
Yeah.
No, I think there are different reasons actually why people engage in it. So the very first thing is to try and understand why they're doing it. So what you said that a lot of people want some me time at the end of the day, that's one possible reason. But there are others as well. So some people use their devices and their phones as a way of getting social connection, for example. So they don't have enough time in the day to socialize and then they're chatting with their friends. Some people use it for emotional regulation to kind of soothe themselves at night. And so it's very important to sort of understand the reason why they're engaging in their procrastination and try and find other activities to do during the day that can fill that need.
I was wondering about like environment of sleep, right? So like obviously there's the room, there's the light, there's like the bed, there's the sounds. There was one point in time where I think I slept with rain sounds. Is that something that actually helps or actually it clouds the mind and the brain from actually working?
So I would put it down to 4 elements.
Okay.
All right. Light,
Okay.
noise, temperature, and your bedding. Optimal is as dark as possible, as quiet as possible, temperature cool enough so that you don't feel like you're waking up, in like sweating or uncomfortable. That's pretty obvious. And like you said, the bedding. So making sure that you have a mattress that suits you, that you have bedding and bedclothes that suit you.
Okay. Egyptian cotton, 10,000. I'm someone who used to like be quite stingy or like thrifty, right? I don't want to overspend on stuff. For the longest time, I had no idea that what was preventing me from sleeping well was actually my bed and my pillow. So I had like a spring bed that was, I think like maybe like 10 years old or 12 years old. It was just like lopsided or it didn't really work well. When I got my Wusa, the original, tried a lot of different ones. For the last 2 years of using Wusa, I fall asleep immediately. You can do it at my Aura Ring. My latency is like 5 minutes. It's like out like a light.
Right.
And that was something that I did not realize I needed until, move to new house, want to get a new bed, etc.
Got
So
it.
if I had not moved into new house, I would probably still be struggling my sleep.
Is there a way to find out what is the best like pillow for you or what's the best like bed materials and whatever?
Oh my god, they need the, how to say, you can take car to go the test drive, right? They should have places where you can go and sleep this bed for one night.
Hey, no, Wusa has.
Huh?
Like, it's not for one night, not
way.
for one
For
night.
real?
But you can, there's sleeping pods where you can just choose the mattress that you want and then they let you sleep for like half an hour. Yeah, it's damn wild. Hey, no, it's more than good enough because you can figure out. Like, if you take the 3 beds, right, it's 1.5 hours.
No, you can actually go and sleep there.
Yeah.
What?
You can book a nap. Like, even if you don't want to buy, right, you just want to sleep,
book a
right?
nap.
Yeah, just book a nap.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Wait, how much is your bed then?
2 to 3K? For the mattress lah, for the mattress. The best part is that because it's foam also, I don't affect everyone else's sleep. I co-sleep with my 2-year-old and my wife. And every time I have to go to toilet at 3-4 a.m., right, no one wakes up. Whereas when I was in a previous mattress, me getting off, right, like I can see my wife literally bouncing off. So yeah.
So wait, if you jump onto your bed, do you just like that? You don't like...
Like sink in, yeah, a little bit of that. You can try. Come over. You're nearby. Just
Weird.
on Allison's bed also.
Or John's bed also.
Yeah. You choose.
I wanted to ask, right? So it is my dream, pun unintended, to participate in a sleep study. Because to me, it's like I just go, then I sleep, then I get money. Is it actually like that? Like what actually happens in a sleep study?
Actually, the research that I used to do was sleep deprivation studies. So you get paid to not sleep. Maybe you don't want to do that.
No, actually.
Shit.
Yeah. We stayed with
got
them
paid
in the
lah.
lab all night. This was my first job. So I was a research assistant. I was in my 20s. So I stayed up with them. I was the one in charge of keeping them up all night and then testing them in the morning.
So you also got paid to stay up all night?
I also got paid to stay up all night.
Maybe
yes.
Wait,
he's
so
just
they
a
are
night
falling
person.
asleep, you have to like, hey, wake up.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you have them do to stay awake?
They do tests all through the night.
Like
So
what? Like what kind of test?
Never mind, I don't want to dream this anymore.
They do cognitive tests of their reaction time, of their short-term memory, different cognitive processes.
Oh,
Actually, I've heard of this before. Yeah. And so what did you all like find out?
Fine, yeah.
Lots of things. So I did studies using brain imaging. And so we used a technique called fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging. So we would scan people after a night of sleep deprivation and compare it to when they'd had a full night of sleep. And we found that a whole network of brain areas is affected, and it shows up quite consistently, actually, when a person is sleep deprived. And those areas are very much affected with, again, attention. So our ability to pay attention to tasks for long periods of time during the day.
Is there a best sleep position? Because I've heard a lot of bad things about sleeping on my tummy, but I love sleeping on my tummy.
Same.
He also.
He saw that. We slept together for 3 days.
Yeah.
So it's like we company trip. We share room. Yeah.
All right. Context.
Context matters.
Yeah, sleeping on your front is not necessarily that great. It can compress a lot of organs. It can make it a bit hard to breathe. So usually on your side or on your back is best. And a lot of that is individual preference again.
Okay.
People who shouldn't sleep on their back are those who have sleep apnea. So that's where the airway tends to close at night, and sleeping on your back can make that a bit worse.
What if I have like sinus? Sometimes I have blocked nose, then I go to sleep, then the back drip and all that.
Yeah. In that case, probably side sleeping might be a better idea.
No, but that's so interesting because when I have a runny nose, if I'm sick or what, right, my preferred spot of sleeping down means that I can't breathe properly because the mucus that when I sleep to my back, it clears up because it all just goes to my throat.
But because, then you become phlegm.
But I sleep so well. Like the airways just like clear up so much.
I also wanted to ask, there is the term like sleep debt that gets thrown around quite a bit. Like, I think especially when you're in school, right, they'll say, okay, never mind, I'm staying up to do this, but at the end of the week, I can catch up on sleep.
Yeah, sleep debt is a term I actually really don't like because it does imply that you can pay back on another day and that everything will be square. And, that really is not the case. So it's like if, example, you ask me to bake you 7 cakes and I say, okay, here's your 7 cakes, but 5 of them have like half the amount of eggs in them and 2 of them have double the amount of eggs, right? You'll still have 7 cakes. So it's the same kind of thing when we sleep short on weekdays and then try and catch up. There are more and more studies, in fact, showing that sleep regularity is just as important, maybe more important than sleep quantity.
Yeah, there's this recent thing, another term that came up, which is the opposite of this. It's called sleep banking. So if you know that the following week, let's say you're going to have a hectic work week and you're only going to sleep like 4 hours a day, right? The week before that, you spam. Like you sleep 10 hours every night instead. And apparently it's supposed to help.
Savings.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So that actually comes from the military. So the first people who thought of this idea, I believe, was the US Air Force.
Of course.
Where if you have to fly a long mission and you have to be up for 28 hours, then okay, you sleep longer first and you bank that sleep, right? And that's fine if you're in a military campaign, but if you're doing that just because you have to study for an exam, I would say that's not worth the sacrifice.
But something a little bit more realistic, because I think a lot of guys do try to do this. So like on Wednesday and Thursdays, there are Champions League matches and they're like at 3 a.m. in the morning, right? So what a lot of people like to do is that they usually sleep at 12 a.m. Today I'm going to sleep at 10 p.m.
Right.
I'll wake up at 3, watch the match until 5, and then I'll go back to sleep.
Okay.
Does the accumulation of that sleep with a 2-hour gap still count as a good, healthy 7 to 8 hours of sleep? Or does that gap actually negate it and I only had, if I sleep from 5 to 7, I only had 2 hours of sleep?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that example is probably not as bad as the other ones that we've been talking about.
Okay.
So what you've described is something that we call biphasic sleep. So essentially you're sleeping in 2 portions with a gap in between. And actually there are many cultures, many people in history who used to do that.
Oh.
And there's no evidence that that's really bad.
Okay.
If you chop up the sleep into more pieces than that, so that's polyphasic sleep, then that's where you start to run into problems.
I see.
Right? Because then things become very fragmented. Often people who sleep that way don't get enough sleep, enough in total, and so that can be an issue.
How serious is sleep deprivation?
Well, we want to make a distinction between short-term and long-term sleep deprivation. In the short term, if you don't get enough sleep for one night, of course it can affect your functioning the next day. It can affect your ability to pay attention to things. So don't do that if you need to drive or operate heavy machinery.
Wait, as in I cannot drive if I don't sleep enough, like the night before.
That's a real thing.
Actually, yes, that is a real thing. So studies have shown that if you go for one entire night without sleep, that's the equivalent of being above the level of intoxication by alcohol that's safe to drive. And in the long term, if you get less than the recommended 7 hours a night on average, that again increases your risk for things like cardiovascular disease, for metabolic disease, and eventually even all-cause mortality as well.
So does sleeping more help?
Sleeping too much can be a bad thing as well.
Oh.
Okay.
In what way?
There's a lot of studies showing that people who sleep more than 9 or 10 hours on average tend to increase the risk of having a lot of chronic health problems as well. And they actually increase the risk of mortality. We're not completely sure why,
Right.
but the thinking is that sleeping too much is kind of an early warning sign that there are other things going wrong
Right. So sleeping longer is the symptom.
in a way, yeah.
Okay.
How,
Oh, that's
how
so
much is
interesting.
too much?
Yeah. 9 to 10
9
hours.
to 10 is it? Yeah.
Like
is so close.
daily, or like if say
Yeah, on average, sleeping more than 9 to 10 hours a day can be an indication that something's wrong as well.
Oh, interesting. I've also heard that there's like a optimal timing or duration for a nap. Is there such thing?
If you're napping during the day, what you want to try to avoid doing actually is stealing too much of your deep sleep from night. So if you sleep a very long time, like if you take a 2-hour nap during the day, then it's much more likely that you'll go in to deep sleep and then it can interfere and make it harder to get enough sleep at night.
So what
Okay.
would be the optimal duration?
What I usually recommend for people is 30 to 60 minutes.
Oh,
60
okay, okay. Is there certain lifestyle things that people maybe are unaware of that actually affects our sleep?
Yeah, I mean, caffeine is one of the big ones. Alcohol as well, of course, can interfere with sleep quality. So alcohol suppresses the amount of REM sleep we can get.
Oh.
So
but how come got people like they drink then they sleep?
Or drink and dream. Oh, maybe that's why I don't dream when I'm drunk. Oh.
I think you black out.
No, you drink.
Being unconscious is different. Wait, is being unconscious different from sleeping?
for sure. When you're sleeping, as I said earlier, your brain is still actually very active doing a lot of things. So if you're in a coma or if you're under anesthesia, your brain is just kind of flatlining. So you're not doing anything, you're not processing any information.
Okay. I got another question. Snoring.
Yes.
Is there a way to fix that? Is there a way to stop my snoring?
A BPAP.
I don't like that I snore.
Snoring means that something somewhere is blocked. So that's either your throat or your nose. Something in the airway is blocking your breathing when you're asleep. The way around that is to see a doctor who specializes in that kind of thing. So that would usually be an ENT.
Yeah.
Yeah, so must do a scope to
I
see.
think to see what the blockage is. Because I have a friend, right, who snores so badly, right, that the only way to stop it is that he needs like either a BPAP or CPAP. I think it's a BPAP machine. So that he can breathe. Because he literally is dying in his sleep. Like, he's
Isn't
not
that
getting
just
enough
sleep
oxygen.
apnea?
Yes. Yeah. But there's literally moments where he's just like not breathing at all for like
So,
couple
but
of
yeah,
seconds.
but they need that device. They cannot just operate to fix?
There are different solutions.
Right.
So CPAP is the most common one, but some people use oral appliances and there are operations that can be done in some cases as well.
So it's not just like I'm tired, therefore I snore.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because you need to fix your snore, man.
Okay, I also wanted to ask, right, what was like in all your years studying sleep, what is a fun fact or like very, very interesting fact that you have learned?
What we were talking about just now, which I think you were all very excited by, was how active our brains are actually while we're asleep, right? So we tend to think of sleep as a time when we're just unconscious, when not much is happening. But in reality, the brain is doing a lot to process the information that it's learned during the day, to even consolidate skills that it's learned. And it even has functions associated with creativity, for example. And so one very cool finding is that if you measure brain activity while you're asleep, you can actually see patterns associated with things that you learned during the day being replayed. And you can see that most clearly in experiments of rats and mice. So if you record their brain electrical activity while they're doing a task during the day, so say they're learning how to run a maze, measure them again when they're asleep at night, you actually see that exact same pattern replaying itself while they're asleep. The maze.
So like certain parts of the brain will light up while they're doing the activity. Then when they're sleeping, the same...
You see exactly the same sequence happening.
The same sequence, right.
Yeah.
My brain is revising.
Yeah, your brain is actually revising.
like
in a
saving
way.
checkpoint. Like, wow, that's pretty cool. Okay.
But we don't know why it's doing that.
It's doing that precisely because it wants to take all that information, all those memories, and consolidate them so that we remember them better.
I actually recently was Googling how come if I take taxi on the way home, then I fall asleep, right? Then I always can wake up at the right time, like just as I'm about to alight. Then ChatGPT said that it's because actually when you are taking a nap in the car, you are in the light sleep phase. And so during this phase, even though you are like unconscious so-called, but your brain actually register a lot of the activity in terms of like maybe how the drive goes. So for example, over a highway, how I'm drive versus like in a neighborhood with a lot of junctions, the stopping of the car, the motor sound and all that. Like your body is registering this and creating a pattern. So they eventually will recognize that when this pattern happen, you are reaching home.
It's like the series of turns lah. Like
Yeah.
the house is usually one right, then two left.
I think my
and
friend
then
don't have this. He always miss the MRT station by like 10
No, but
stops.
MRT you cannot. MRT is
cannot.
straight. This one is like, you know the series of turns. No, but yeah, like every time I go to church, then the priest speak, I always fall asleep. Then when you stop, right, like immediately wake up in the right time.
That's what you think. Actually, they're waiting for you.
Actually, 5 people have been checking me awake.
Oh my god, in secondary school, y'all got to learn about the diffusion joke. They said that like if you open, like you're cramming for exam, right? Then not enough time already. Then you open the textbook, right? And you put under your pillow, then you sleep. Then it will diffuse in.
This is not it, though.
It worked for my friend. No, I feel like, okay, allegedly lah. I don't know whether he got
Well,
studied.
it was probably the sleep and not the textbook
yeah,
then.
it was like maybe the brain was actually like revising.
Yeah. From the pages that it was looking at,
Yeah.
like, it was probably
I hate
You were fooled.
But it's so interesting. So like during the day, if I learn how to do a tennis serve or I learn like a new song to play on the guitar, like the brain is going through like, okay, this is the muscle memories. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
And this is happening during which phase?
Different kinds of learning happen during different stages of sleep. So some happen during deep sleep, some happen during REM sleep.
Okay.
Something that I read that was quite interesting was that you actually dream every night. It's just whether or not you can remember it. Is that true?
That is probably true, yes, because when you wake people up in the laboratory, for example, from REM sleep, most of the time they will tell you that they were dreaming about something. So the reason that some people don't remember their dreams is either they wake up after the dream has ended and they've already forgotten.
Okay, given your years of experience and expertise, is there something that you think everybody can adopt or do differently to immediately improve like their quality of sleep?
I think if there were one thing I would advise people to do, especially Singaporeans, is don't have your phone in the bedroom with you.
But then how to hear my alarm?
Buy an
Buy
alarm
an-
clock.
The ball.
Buy an alarm clock, or as you said, put it like somewhere on a table on the other side of your room, because that's just a temptation for doom scrolling that keeps you up at night, and that's the number one sleep killer, I think, right now.
Yeah, and like I think people overestimate their ability to go back to sleep, because like sometimes, like recently also, I've had to go to the toilet around 3 a.m. Then I will purposely bring my phone with me, and I'm not embarrassed to say this, I sit down peeing at home. So like I will just sit down and I'll just use my phone. I will like lose track of time. Half an hour pass by, it's like 3:30 already. And I'm like, what? Oh no! And now I'm like, it's 5 a.m. I can't sleep. So like yeah, the phone really
So we've come to the end of the episode. A big thank you to Dr. Julian for joining us
Massive.
and giving us his time. And because we are doing an episode on sleep, we had actually got a producer to reach out to Wusa, and they actually very kindly given us a promo code to partner with us. So we'll actually put the link down below. You can shop there to get 5% off your entire bill with no minimum spend.
That's huge.
Yeah, don't sleep on it, as one might say.
Hey.
And then said just now. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. My favorite sleep story, nerd, but is that, you know, there is one record in the Guinness Book of World Records that you are not allowed to break, and that is the longest time staying awake, back in 1946. So essentially, this 17-year-old guy stayed awake for 11 days
Yo.
and 24 minutes. He had like a friend that was in charge of helping him to stay awake also. So
Right.
they had contraptions like, as in, like maybe slap his hand, that kind of thing. So then
That'll be such a fun live
Like a
stream
live
to
stream,
watch.
right?
Yeah.
Anyway, you're not allowed to do it, so we are not recommending this. But essentially, what he realized was that his memory got like super bad. Then there's this dementia test that you do where you count backwards from 100 in multiples of 7. And then depending on how far you get and how fast you get there, it can kind of give you some information.
I
Then,
can't even do that now.
wait, really? Like, can you actually try?
cannot. Go.
He lost like his short-term memory. Then he started having a lot of hallucinations. Then he developed like a paranoia and all that. And then it is literally right. Okay, on the 11th day, when he was asked to subtract 7 repeatedly, he stopped. When asked why he stopped, he replied that he had forgotten what he was doing.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's not even that he don't know how to minus anymore.
Yeah.
It's that, what was I
goldfish,
doing?
right?
Yeah. So then what happened was, after he gave up, after he broke the record already, right? Then he went to sleep for like 14 hours and 46 minutes. And when he woke up, all his ailments disappeared.
Oh,
Just from that one sleep.
that's how good sleep is.
That's why, like, I always quote this story when I want to say sleep is magic.
Yeah, no, it's so funny because like literally the first month that like Denise joined us, right? There were 2 things that she was talking about, and one of it was sleep, and the other one was why hexagons are the best guns.
Oh my god, I remember this.